Welcome to Broke Ass to Badass, where heart-led entrepreneurs learn to build the businesses and lives of their dreams with confidence, ease, and joy. This is the anti-hustle movement, and we're your coaches in badassery, Kimi and Pua.
Find out more at bledigital.com, and wherever you're listening to this, be sure to click subscribe so you never miss an episode.
In this episode, we interview our dear friend and Broke Ass to Badass graduate, Laura Christine, also known as LC. In this episode, we hear how LC took her many talents as a musician, a yogi, a Reiki healer to create a really unique and powerful membership and all-around badass business for what she calls the Wayshowers of the world. You'll hear LC talk about the nightmare that she had that shook her into action and how she created Club LC, her coaching program, a podcast, and her growing community in really just months. Get ready to get inspired. Without further ado, here's Laura Christine. Laura Christine, welcome to the podcast. We're so excited to talk with you. I can already feel my energy is like, because I feel like just so giddy and almost like high. It's like the LC high that I get every time that I'm around you. So welcome. We are super pumped for this conversation. You are a Broke Ass to Badass graduate. You are an all-around badass. You are a Wayshower, which you're going to tell us all about today, and really just an amazing musician, Reiki healer. Like, holy moly. Would love for you to just kick things off by giving us the barbecue pitch, right? The elevator pitch. If somebody were to come up to you and say, "Oh, hey, what do you do?" How would you answer them? Your 45-second intro.
I love that you asked me that. First off, can I please say thank you for having me on this podcast? I feel like I'm in the best company in the world just by listening to not only the two of you, but the other people that you have on your podcast. I feel like I made it.
Aww.
And I love that you asked me my elevator pitch because I've been listening to your podcast and you usually just tell people, okay, tell us who you are. And I'm like, I actually prepared and I was like, I hope I don't have to do like an elevator pitch because I literally don't have one. However,
It was a trick question.
Good. I will start. Let me start with saying that I do show the way or a way or some ways to be victorious in the light of conscience. Now, I'd love to explain that by just telling you about my name. Can I do that?
Please.
Okay. So, when people ask like, oh, what do you do? It's like, well, my name is Laura Christine. Those are my given names, but that's my first and middle name. I don't really care about my last names, so I never use them. And Laura comes from the word laurel. In Greece, they would put a laurel wreath on top of the heads of victorious people who like won competitions and stuff. So Laura actually means victorious. Now, there are a lot of Lauras out there, so I just want to give you high fives right now and say yes. But with that, I mean, you can be victorious in literally anything. You can be victorious at having a shitty life too. So, it's not like, oh, we're better. It's just, this is what our name means. So how are we going to embrace that, right? My middle name is Christine, and Christine, you can hear Christ is in Christine, right? It's the first part of it. Now, I really want to separate this because it's not about Jesus and it's nothing religious, right? Christ is actually a consciousness. It is a state of being where you actually are living from the light of conscience. Conscience, broken down, means with science or with knowledge. Okay, difference between the knowledge that you have when information goes into your brain and you analyze it and the knowing that exists where thoughts do not. That's the science, that's the knowledge I'm talking about here. Conscience is universal. There is that universal knowing, right? That is what conscience means, at least to me. So I use light of conscience and I'm proud of it.
Oh my gosh. To hear you describe that is it's like chicken skin to the max, because I remember, so if you guys don't know, Laura Christine was one of the OGs that came through our course and crushed it. And there was a point when you were trying to figure out I think it was early on where you were like, okay, who am I? What do I call this? What do I even do? I don't know. I know. And we all go through that, right? We know inside, but it's putting it into words that's like trips us all up. And you were like, I love this kind of light of conscience concept, but I don't really know if people will understand it or if it'll be like well received. And we're like, holy shit, you are onto something. That's amazing. It's LC, like, you have to do this. And everyone was like, do it. And to hear you now, it's been a few months since we've talked to you about your business, and to hear you not just like include that so confidently in what you do, but to step into that and have this beautiful description about what it is. And you're like, it doesn't matter anymore if people don't immediately connect with it, because after they hear you describe it, you can't not fall in love with that phrase, with your business, with you. It's so cool. So congratulations. That's badass.
Thank you, Pua. And I will say, you have spoken with me about my business. I want to just put that out there for people who might be contemplating your Broke Ass to Badass course, that both of you, so Kimi and Pua, have both reached out to me asking me how things are going. And this is after I've been out of the course for a while. So just know that these two ladies got your back and they want you to win, and you know it. So I thank you for that.
Aww.
Welcome. So yes, okay, you're right. We have totally talked about your business, and I love that it's an ongoing conversation. And your business is like, it's one of the most fascinating, inspiring things it's been amazing to watch you evolve and really take what you do, which I find it to, like, if it was me, I would have had a really hard time shifting this into something that fits some sort of structure that people can opt into, right? You're a beautiful musician. You practice Reiki healing from afar. You have so many gifts, and they're all things that I feel you really had to create these beautiful structures and processes for people to opt into your services, because they're not super tangible. And I'd love for you to share what that experience was and how you stepped into that, and just like you meshed these two worlds that feel very different into this big, beautiful ball of light that people can experience.
Sure, thank you.
There's a question in there somewhere.
No, I get it. I can speak to it, and I can only laugh because you described so perfectly how my life is. With how do you get all these things that you do that are so out there and crazy? I know you didn't say those words, but they seem to be like, there are musicians that are musicians, and that's what they do, right? There are healers that are healers, and that's what they do. There are people like me who have all these different things going, and it's like, what do I do with this? So that's why I wanted to join your course, to figure out, okay, now what do I do with this? Because it's time. I had actually taken a break from my healing and art businesses, and I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna chill and relax here and live in Hawaii for a little while, get grounded. And then about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, it just became very apparent that it's like, okay, it's time to start putting it out there. And then last December, it became really apparent. Now is the time, and you have literally no choice. And can I talk about choice really fast?
Yeah.
Because we actually always do have choice. I just said I didn't have a choice. Of course you have a choice. You always have a choice. I really teach about habits, and I love that you both teach about habits as well, because habits are what your life is. Your life is your habits. And I think people get stuck and they think like they are what they do. They are what their habits are. And since they've always done this, or they like doing this, it's too hard to change. I can't stop doing that, because then I'm not going to know who I am. Okay. We have to get comfortable changing. We have to get comfortable knowing that we always can choose something different right now in this moment. I don't care what you've done your whole life. You can literally stop doing it. Maybe not. I mean, if you stop breathing, you'll die. But you know what I mean? Any activity, any thought that you have that you've thought your whole entire life. It's not easy, but you can change it. And so I really work on people with their habits through the yoga and the vibrational things and the mantras. That's what mantras are so good at. They just clear and clear and clear. So let me somehow bring this back into creating something tangible for people to opt into. I actually have a few things now. The main and easiest way to get in is through Club LC, because I incorporate pretty much everything. And I'm super excited because if anyone decides to join at the top tier, which I made very affordable, you receive Reiki every single week. It's a group send, so the energy is amplified. But check this out. My birthday is this month, on the 22nd. And if anybody joins or switches, if they're in it already and they switch to the top tier to receive that every single week, they will be qualified to win, or not win. Well, yeah, you can win, but you would receive a free customized mantra where we get together over Zoom. I am there with my guitar so that we can really tune in, find your melody, find the mantra that's going to best bring out your brilliance. I will professionally record it. I want these to be 31 minutes because that's like super deep. Okay, so that is like a huge bonus for opting into that club right now. There are some levels where you receive less. There are levels that you can enter at a lower level where you're not receiving Reiki, or you're receiving it only once a month. But that tier of it's $54, and you get Reiki every month or every week.
So epic. Guys,
it is.
If you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds interesting, do it. It's
Absolutely.
so amazing.
Can you take a moment to share a little bit about Reiki for any of our listeners that aren't familiar with it, and what is this energetic tool and how does it work? Yeah, give us the Reiki scoops for Reiki newbies.
I would love to. You actually kind of like pulled those thoughts right out and brought them out. So thank you. I was thinking, geez, I should explain what Reiki is. So Reiki is an energy healing. It transcends time and space. So you don't have to be present with me. In fact, I tune in better usually when I'm doing distant sessions. When I tune in, whatever comes through, like any thoughts or visions or whatever I see or think of, I'll write down and then I'll share that after. But that's not what Reiki is. Reiki is an energy healing. What it does is, if you think about anything in your life that's uncomfortable. So if you have a sore hip or a sore ankle or whatever, anything in your body is sore, you get sick, you have thoughts that aren't kind. And so you might suffer depression, or even just sometimes you're off. All of that started in your energy field. Everything starts in the energy field. So what Reiki does is it goes into the energy field. So it kind of like penetrates it with the highest light, the highest love. And it can shake loose any of those icky things that are causing the discomforts in your life. It can shake those loose and pull them out. But the beauty of it is it fills that space back up with love. So you can't, and light, if love and light is somewhere, you can't put that icky thought in there anymore. So again, it's that habit. That's why I'm like, do this every week. You get in the habit of pouring light into your energy field.
Can we send Reiki to the US government right now? Or like the world?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Let's do it.
It transcends time and space. Now, everybody has free will, right? So if someone's opting into Club LC, that's an obvious, yes, I'm totally in. I want to receive Reiki. There are some people who are just like, ugh, devil. I don't want that. I don't want that light. Ugh. it opens you up, and then who knows what comes in, and that's okay. They don't have to be there. They don't have to want it. And you can still send it, but when I send to people who aren't knowing that I'm sending, I will always request that the soul receive it if that person is open to it.
Cool.
So I don't know if the government's going to be open to it, but we can do the best we can, right?
Totally. I'm down to try.
Awesome.
Wow.
I still don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, I think so. And so when did you start? Give us a little backstory with your personal introduction to Reiki and to all the different healing modalities that you use, and how did you get into this world?
Wow. I'll go back to college because that is where I think I felt it most. I was doing a degree that was kind of artsy, but not really. And then I switched to art because I said, I don't want other people telling me what to do. And if I was in this industrial technology model building degree, if I got a job in that, I would have had people telling me what to create. And I'm like, I don't want anyone telling me what to do. So I just did art. And oh my God, this is it. When I made that choice to follow what I really wanted, there was a woman in my art class, another student, and she taught the yoga class and the yoga class at the rec center. And I'm like, I'm going to try that one day. So I tried it one day. We were in this rec center in a racquetball court. There was somebody else was in the dance studio, so they got the quiet space. We got the racquetball court really loud and annoying, I guess. So after class, everyone was just like, "Oh my God, that sucked. We're never doing that again." I sat up and I was just like, oh, I could take on the world and fall asleep at the exact same time right now. And I never looked back. I have been practicing yoga or meditation or something since. And then in 2010, I started Kundalini yoga teacher training, and Kundalini yoga has had the most impact and the most effective impact on me as far as opening to who I truly am than anything else. It's been the most important. So that's where I learned mantras, was through yoga. And then especially the Kundalini yoga mantras have a really, really potent vibration. Reiki came to me somehow in the midst of my first yoga teacher training. I don't even remember how I heard about it. I just knew one day, I want to learn Reiki. So I did. And Reiki, yoga, meditation, all of those things that take us out of our minds and into our hearts help us get in the habit, again, of trusting that inner knowing, the conscience, right? Our real conscience.
Beautiful. I just I don't know. Every time you speak to us and we're around you, I just feel good. So I'm
Me
just sitting here feeling good. Oh God, I have questions, but I'm just basking in your energy. Okay, so I'm so intrigued. I just want you to keep talking, really. And I'm just going to ask questions that allow you to just keep talking. So there are two phrases that come to my mind when I think about you. One is light of conscience, and the other is a wayshower. And I would love for you to talk about your experience as a wayshower. You talk a lot about being a wayshower and identifying with other wayshowers and helping people to identify whether or not they identify with being a wayshower. And I'd love for you to talk about that and how that fits in with all of this.
Okay. Before though, I need to say that those feelings are reciprocated. I feel awesome with you guys anytime. Oh, I love you guys. So wayshower to me is somebody who has made the choice to follow their heart, to the mind is still there and it still has its doubts and its fears and it's, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. But the heart is recognized as the true leader. That's who I believe wayshowers are. That's, that's how they live. Now, that wayshower could be anywhere on that journey, whether they're just deciding like, I really, 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 really want to follow that light in my heart, because I've been there, right? We've all been there. We really want to, but then there's all that other shit that we listen to, other people, our own minds, society, blah, 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 etc. So that's what a wayshower is. Just, it's somebody who yearns to or is anywhere in that process of following the light of their own heart and letting that be their guidance, because nobody knows what is right for you except for you. And that's just something that I wanted to say. So I threw it in there. Nobody but you knows what's right for you. Once you've, gotten past like the whatever age. So wayshowers, to me, there's no like, you have to act this way, or you have to be this way, or you have to do this thing, you have to think this way. It's not that. It's just, are you living from your heart? Because when you live from your heart, other people recognize that. They see that in you and they say, oh, that's what I have been wanting to do, or you show them like, I didn't even know that was an option. Some people are so in their minds that they don't understand that there's an option to follow something else. So you're showing the way just by being who you are.
Beautiful.
I don't know. That's, yeah.
Love it so much. Okay, so we just really want to paint a picture for our audience here. And like, we actually, gosh, I don't even remember how long has it been that since this idea really popped into your head for your membership site? Like, when did it first start bubbling up?
It didn't bubble up. It was a clear, you are doing something now, because I woke up from a dream in which I was the most angry I've ever been, more angry than in waking life, I swear I've ever been. After having watched a whaling ship kill a whale, I'm like, okay, that's it. I got to do something.
I remember that. When was that?
Good question.
It was
this
months
year.
ago. Yeah, it was months ago. And
I believe it was in March.
I think you're right.
Of this year.
Yeah. I remember that story so well. And just for our listeners to really understand what's been created from that moment. I mean, we've watched you've created the membership site on Patreon. Of course, you've gotten all the clarity around your services and the different things, but you have launched a podcast. You have an amazing Facebook group. You've launched another program where it's a deeper dive with you, more of a group coaching program, which we'd love for you to share more about. I mean, you are a creating machine and an inspired action-taking machine. And we would love for you to share with our audience for somebody, because I am sure that there are so many people listening right now that they have had that dream. Maybe not the whale killing dream that you had, but a dream, right? Where they're just like, they hear their soul talking to them like, this is the time. I need to do this. So what is it? What advice would you give them? What guidance, what inspiration, what has helped you over the past, let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, like 7 months to create so much from such a beautiful place of alignment?
Thank you for that question. So it actually goes back farther. I have created habits to put myself, like my capital S self, first, to put quote unquote God, source, universe. This is not for me. This is for something bigger. So that's one thing. But when we come in from from March until now, the advice that I would give, number one, most is surround yourself with people like you. I was going to say better than you, which I don't believe anyone's better than the other. But you know how we have these perceptions in our minds, like, oh, they're farther along, or they're like more talented or whatever. Find those people. I don't care. It doesn't matter what your perception is, as long as your perception of you is that you are doing this for something bigger than your little body and life here. We're all spirit, right? This is not about Laura Christine Anderson Mansfield. It's not. And so surround yourself with those people, whether that is to join a coaching group like Broke Ass to Badass, whether that's to find company in yoga classes, or I don't know, find a healer to work with. It doesn't really matter like the look of it, as long as you feel like these people are my people. So reach out and find those people. There's a bunch of them on the Light of Conscience on the Light of Conscience podcast, but also in the Light of Conscience community on Facebook. There's a lot of Wayshowers in there. And the feedback that I've gotten from people is that they're just so happy to have a place to just be themselves. And that is the exact reason I wanted to start it. So it really fills my heart. So yeah, surround yourself with people who believe in you, because you're not always going to believe in you. You're not going to always know what you're doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. And that's actually the good thing. If you know what you're doing, you're going to stop growing. Curiosity makes you grow. Being like, okay, now what? That's what makes you grow. You have to allow that for yourself. You have to be okay with failure. You have to be okay with knowing that like every single thing you do might not bring in $1,000. But guess what? It's just you're creating a step for yourself for the thing that does bring it in, because you're worthy of it. It's just I'm the kind of person that's like, okay, I see this thing, I want it now. Well, wait, back up. Let's go through the process. And this is what all the teachers teach, right? All the like spiritual masters and all of that. It's about the journey, right? Not the destination. That's in our little projects too. It's about the journey. How is our spirit growing? Okay. So one thing you asked about the Mastery Intensive, that's the other program that you had asked me to talk about. I'm so beyond grateful that I was talking to a friend one day and she said, well, we're here to bring in clarity. She's a psychic medium, among other things. And I always tell my clients, I'm not a psychic. I'm not going to channel, your past loved ones or angels or anything like that. That doesn't mean I'm not really a psychic, but it's not what I do. I don't channel things. So she said, you're here to bring in the vibration. And I said, oh, yeah. Because again, it's coming back to habits. If you want something, you have to become that thing. Vibrationally, you have to become a match to it, because you don't get what you want, you get what you are, right? So the Mastery Intensive is about bringing people together who are in similar places. Right now, I have one for incomizing your brilliance. So people who have been working on their stuff for a long time, but they're just not maybe marketing or putting themselves out there 100% brightness, 100% of the time, which they know if they do that, they will attract, because that's, it's who they are. So those are the people that I have in this Mastery Intensive now. And it is just beyond, if I can share our first day of our mastermind session. So we have mastermind, and then we combine that with Kundalini yoga and other practices, Reiki and stuff. We have one woman that is going through a very challenging time, especially with her partner, and not a relationship thing, but her partner's going through a very difficult time right now. And she made it a priority to at least pop in on our first day. She was in the hospital with her wife. She made it a priority. So this is the kind of people, these people with that much commitment to themselves and to their growth and to who they are. And she spoke to us so openly, like we'd all known each other better than family forever. And so automatically, this is a container where you are just allowed to be you. We get in the habit of that. It's going to be easier to be that when you're with family who might not see you like we do, right? So that's what it's all about. It's getting into the vibrational reality, because again, we always have a choice and we always can change.
Holy moly. If you guys are listening to this passively, like you're driving or you're doing dishes, like stop what you're doing right now and rewind this like 5 minutes and listen again, because you just said so many brilliant things. Like I was like, oh my God, drop the mic. We're done. This is amazing. Yes. Okay. So all of this, so beautiful. And I just want to say, like, you doing what you're doing is crucial to bringing humanity back to where we're supposed to be. And without you, I don't know where the world would be. Honestly, like you don't even know how important this work is. I mean, you do know. That's why you're doing it. But I want to commend you, and I want to encourage you to just never stop creating and never stop growing and serving, because it's so beautiful. And I feel like what you're doing is bringing all of us back to the state that we were originally in. Right? We were very connected. We were very aware of our energy and our vibration. And somewhere along the way, all of that got shut off. So for you to be doing what you're doing is massively, insanely important. So thank you so, so much for doing this. Your services sound unreal. Like I have only experienced some of the lower level services, and they're amazing. I get emails every week with beautiful mantras and songs and Reiki healing, and it's just I don't ever want to turn it off. And I can only imagine what the higher levels of service are like. And I just want to thank you for doing this, being a badass and taking action and saying, like, as you said. And I think I know what you meant when you were like, I didn't have a choice. I had to do this. And of course you could have not done it, but it's that thing that eats away at you. And it's like, you got to do it. You got to do it. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're meant to do. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And you can't ignore that after a while. Right. So is that what you meant by, I really didn't have a choice anymore?
It is. It actually ties into something where you were saying, you're bringing us back to who we were. And it's all about, we're just coming back to conscience. Mm-hmm. That's what we're coming back to. And that's what you don't have. Once you've been there and you've lived from that place of conscience, you're not going to choose something else. There's no reason to. You don't, it's not even a want. It is.
Totally. For sure. Awesome. Okay. So everybody's sitting out there and they're like, oh my God, I freaking love this girl. I need in. I want in. How do they get in? Tell us about your Facebook group. Tell us about how to opt into your everything that you offer. Tell us everything.
Okay. Easiest way to connect is actually through my Facebook group, because you have to please answer the questions. There's 3. They're super easy.
Isn't that funny? People don't like to answer them sometimes. Yeah.
I know. And they're so fun. I'm like, how can I support you? Why don't you want to answer that? I want to. So it's Light of Conscience Community, Conscience, C-O-N, and then Science, S-C-I-E-N-C-E. And you will see the whale. There's a whale jumping in that. So that's how you find that. You could also do it. I have a bit.ly/LOC community. That'll get you there as well. My website, lightofconscience.com. And I have another one, laurachristine.us. And that one, if you do /music, you'll get to some mantras to listen to. And they are very healing and heart opening. Instagram. Okay, so right now I'm at music.laurachristine on Instagram and on, you know what, you guys, I'm going to switch it. So it's at Light of Conscience on Instagram.
Yeah.
So just tell them that, and I'll switch it today.
Accountability.
You can leave that in too. And other than that, if you do go to my website, you can opt into my emails, so you will get the notifications of my podcasts that come out. It's people like you. It's people who are following their hearts. They're so inspirational. It is the funnest thing I have ever done, I think, ever. I've done a lot of fun things, and everything I'm doing is pretty fun, but I really think that these podcasts are so much fun. So listen to those. They're awesome. If I might put a plug in for me, I guess. Yeah, that's probably enough. Yeah.
It's perfect. It's so perfect. And we agree. Podcasting is so fun. And this has been so fun with you. So thank you for sharing this time and your badassery with all of us. And I think you're such a great example of anybody that's listening right now, like your life can look and feel completely different in 6 or 7 months. It just starts from being badass enough to say like, hell yeah to that thing within you, like Elsie did. So definitely follow her in all the places. Elsie, this has been a joy. We love you. We can't wait to see what you create next.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear what I said. I loved this.
We hope you enjoyed this episode with Laura Christine. Isn't she freaking amazing? We just love her. And just so you guys know, doors are open for our Broke Ass to Badass 8-week online course. If you've been waiting, now's the time to jump on and book a breakthrough call with us. Go to brokeasstobadass.com. You can check out all the details for the course, book your call right there. We also just launched our first Broke Ass to Badass self-study lab course. This is how to monetize your Facebook group, and that is also open on our website, bledigital.com. Go up to the menu, select online courses, and you'll find everything you need right there. We cannot wait to talk to you.